Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us again today on this Monday. We have a little bit of a different business here. We have been talking, some of our series is focused on retail, certainly our construction industry. We are switching today and talking about health and wellness here in Pagosa Springs. There is certainly that image in Pagosa with the healing waters. We have a number of holistic options here in our community. And so we are at one of our, while a newer chamber member, not a new business to Pagosa Springs. And we are at the Restorative Solution here today with Dr. Alyssa Albers. So we are going to, as we always say, switch our camera and speak with her. We are in the beautiful offices here of the Restorative Solution in the Cornerstone area, which is near, as most people know, the Walmart area. And here we go. We are here with Dr. Alyssa Albers. Welcome to our show today.
Thank you.
So, as I mentioned, you are a newer chamber member, so thank you for that, for joining the chamber.
Absolutely.
But not so new to Pagosa Springs. You've been in practice here in Pagosa now for how many years?
4 years.
4 years.
We came here in March of 2020 and opened up.
Oh, a perfect time.
Yes. Yes.
right in the
heat of everything.
The heave of the infamous epidemic or pandemic. So,
yes.
So not being new to the industry, but new to Pagosa, can you tell us, as we always say, tell us your story.
Okay.
How long have you been practicing, and where'd you come from, and what brought you to Pagosa Springs?
Okay. So for starters, I started in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in 2015. June 15th would have been 9 years in practice. So I've been doing chiropractic for 9 years now. I started there with a one-room office, and it had no windows. It had none of these things. And when we were thinking about leaving the city, Albuquerque became a little too big for us. My husband and I were both from smaller towns. I'm from a smaller town in South Dakota. He's from a smaller town in Kansas. We met in the city. We thought we could make it work, and we realized it just wasn't our style. We knew we wanted to leave, and actually a patient of mine in Albuquerque said, I have a place in Pagosa. I think it would fit your personality perfect. You guys should go check it out. And we had been looking at Durango for probably 6 or 7 years.
Really?
And we even had some of our best friends move to Durango because we were going to go join them. But we came here, and it was like a Thanksgiving in like 2018. And we immediately knew this is where we wanted to be. So we bought a house, and we planned to work really hard to pay it down a little bit so we could afford to make a jump to a smaller town, a smaller community. Everybody told me of all the things of Pagosa that I needed to worry about, how much it slows down in the winter and how many tourists there are and things along those lines. So we were just preparing ourselves financially. But it was in 2019, we were like, we're just done with the city. We're going to set a date, and we're just going to move. And we're like, March 2020, that's the day we're going to do it. And we sold our house, and we packed our U-Haul, and sure enough, the world was shutting down, but everything was sold, everything was done. So we had to make the move, and we came on up here. I've been touring businesses for a while, trying to figure out the perfect spot for my location. And I saw this place with all these windows and this view, and the opposite of everything I've ever had in Albuquerque.
We can't see outside. Too bright.
I made the jump. We've got floor-to-ceiling windows
that
wrap this whole building. It gives us natural light. We absolutely love it. Turns out it improves your mood. We can swear by that. But we got here, and we needed to get things open, and nobody was doing anything. So I think one of my favorite stories about us getting here is not only how scary it was to be arriving March of 2020, but my husband and I built this entire place.
Oh my goodness.
There wasn't anybody doing construction right then, right? People weren't going out, but I knew it was going to pass, and we needed to get this place open. So we built this whole thing, and we're in love with it. It's absolutely perfect for me and my team. So I started off as a one-man show and just slowly worked into what we are today.
That's great. So from the one-man show to what you are today, what does that mean? What else have you brought into your clinic here?
Absolutely. So, not only do I specialize in something called Atlas Orthogonal Care, which my overall specialty is headaches and migraines. I use a series of x-rays to get a 3D idea of how the skull is actually sitting on the neck to create balance. Once we create balance of the spine, then it's much easier to adjust everything else. So I actually have a fully functional x-ray room across the hall that we utilize to do that. And then we do pain management, but non-surgical stuff. So I have class 4 deep tissue laser therapies. I have since added on 3 other lasers and 3 laser techs. This is just one of our units right here. And I've got 2 extra rooms now where those girls operate out of. A lot of my patients receive their adjustment and then they go over and get laser therapy. But the laser is good for people being challenged with all kinds of things. It's not just pain. So we do arthritis, we do pain, we do muscle sprain strains. We even help with broken bones. We have treatments for symptoms of Alzheimer's, dementia. The list goes on of what we're able to do with the laser. So you don't necessarily have to be a patient of mine to receive laser. So we've slowly added the technicians that operate that and give people the treatment they need for pain relief here in Pagosa. And then we added on something that I've always been dear to my heart is functional medicine type stuff. So when I say functional medicine, it's gut health, hormone health, cellular health. The chiropractic adjustment is absolutely amazing and profound. But if you don't have the right chemistry internally, you can't hold those adjustments. If your inflammation's not right, you can't hold those adjustments. And my goal is never to just adjust people their entire lives. I want to get them internally as healthy as possible, as soon as possible. So we do blood work, we do stool samples, we do hormone testing with urine and saliva. And then most recent add-on is a full-time phlebotomist here in the house. So we can actually just do our blood draws here rather than I was having to send patients over to Durango to have those things done with the LabCorp there. So now we've got our own right in-house, which is already making the whole process so much easier on the patients, not having to travel on me because I get faster results. And that's just another component of it. You're only as healthy as the food you can digest, and education is power to us. So we try to take the time to not only teach you about your x-rays, how your body's moving, where your weaknesses are, but then how the gut works, how the blood works, how the hormones balance everything out. And once you learn all that stuff, it makes health and wellness easier.
So not just the adjustment, but the whole person.
Yes.
So Alyssa, Pagosa Springs, for the most part, is, and our largest economic driver is certainly tourism. Does your industry feel that, or do you feel that you have a strong enough residential or local base that really the tourism component doesn't affect your business?
That's actually a great question. I was prepared for the slow winters, and all that I thought is, that might be really great, right? Slow down in the winter. Our thing is to ski. And winter rolled around and I realized 95% of my patient base are all full-time locals. And that's been that way since the very beginning. So no, it doesn't slow down for any season for me. Things are pretty consistent and I absolutely love it. One little kind of fun fact about becoming a doctor in Pagosa, which this community has been so good to me, and I love being a doctor here, but it's easier to be a doctor in Pagosa. In Albuquerque, everybody wanted things to be really quick. They didn't want to be in the office very long. They wanted me to fix everything and they weren't willing to do anything at home. And it was just constant, like being on top of people, trying to get things to change. And I came to Pagosa and it was like everybody was already on a health journey. I was just a missing link that I could help start putting these pieces together. So it's truly easier to be a doctor here than it is in Pagosa or in Albuquerque. So being Pagosa, even though I'm more consistent all year round, it's not a big deal. It's wonderful.
Do you find the opposite perhaps in the winter when they're skiing and potentially a few more mishaps and accidents, do you find your business increases?
Maybe not for skiing, but as the seasons change, because everything people are doing is so drastic. So I always know when people start snow blowing or shoveling. And then I always know as soon as raft season starts up, people are flinging giant rafts and starting to jump on their mountain bikes when the trails are opening up. And then I even see when hiking starts stepping up and we're getting ankle and knee and hip issues. So I see the seasonal change that way. The
Interesting.
influx.
So also being new, is there something, and you started from scratch, you didn't buy a business,
Correct.
You started your own. Do you have, one of the things we try and accomplish in this show also is to give maybe someone who's interested in opening a business some pointers, or here's something that I think I did really well, or the opposite end of that spectrum, which is, oh my gosh, I wish that was the biggest, dumbest mistake I've ever made. Do you have any words of wisdom, either on the pros or the, oh, I wish I hadn't have done that side?
In Pagosa, one of the greatest things I noticed when getting the business started is the word of mouth around here. Do not underestimate that. I didn't know how to put money into marketing when I first opened because it was March of 2020 and nobody was out in the world doing anything. But the word of mouth in this town is amazing, and just get out and talk to different businesses and talk to people you run into, and they're going to spread the word for you. The chamber is another amazing place where you're just going to get that word out there. So don't underestimate that.
Great. Anything you smack your head and say, oh, wish I hadn't have done that? Or
don't attempt it in March of 2020.
Absolutely. Watch out for that next pandemic. Huh? So as we wrap up again, thank you so much for taking the time. Anything else that you would like to say about your business or the business industry here in Pagosa Springs?
I guess a lot of people that know about our business already in Pagosa Springs know that I'm not taking new patients very quickly. I'm working on a list, and the chiropractic side is very busy. I take my time with my patients, and I don't want to rush anything. And as some get into wellness, I bring new ones in. But do know that we offer so many services that are more than chiropractic. So the laser is here to help anybody with a whole slew of things. If you have questions, the girls at the front desk, they can answer any of those questions. And then the functional medicine stuff and all of that is also always available. So don't hesitate to still call the office, even if you think we're not taking new patients.
Okay, perfect. And again, why don't you repeat exactly where you are?
We are located 2839 Cornerstone, Unit 1. So we're the giant stucco building just northeast of the Walmart. And we are the very east unit. So we've got the gym, we've got the massage center, we've got some acupuncturists, and then I'm the end unit.
It's becoming quite the wellness suite here.
It is. Anytime
in
I'm
the
finding
Cornerstone
somebody that
area.
fits what we do, I'm like, I think I have a unit for you. And I'm sure my landlord appreciates that greatly.
I bet. Well, thank you again so much for joining us. And everybody, thank you so much for joining us again on this Monday to find out a little bit more about one of our great businesses here in Pagosa Springs. Thank you, and we'll see you again next Monday.